Foster Brown Show. I am Jamie Foster Brown, and tonight I'm going to bring you Mr. Torrel Harris, good friend of mine, the chairman of Unique Sports Management International, a company for NBA and international athletes. Mr. Harris is known for his unique style of managing athletes, contract negotiations, financial planning, investment strategies, counseling, brand endorsement, and marketing strategies. He's considered an industry pioneer. Help me welcome Mr. Torrel Harris.
My pleasure. How you doing?
I'm good. It's great seeing you.
You're looking good.
Thank you very much. So are you. You look younger, Torrel. What's going on?
God is just blessing me abundantly.
Are you eating meat? You have skin that looks like you don't eat meat, you know.
Oh no, I eat some meat sometimes.
You eat some meat. Okay. Well, you've got outstanding children, and I want to share with our people a little bit about your family and all your children, and I'm glad that you came on because you have an amazing story, amazing wife,
Yes.
and amazing successful children.
Yes, thank you.
I actually brought you on here so you can teach.
Right.
We don't have fathers in our homes, and then the fathers who are there, they really are not being taught how to raise their family, how to be a father and take care of their own. Can you share a little bit about that with me?
So where do you want me to start at?
How did you know that was the, you can see a woman that you think is good looking or something like that, but you got to get past that and see what's her character, who is she actually. So
yeah, well, the first part is when she could stand up to my mother.
She stood up to your mother?
My mother, because my mother's very intimidating.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, my mother, she hard, she rough, she's city, so when my wife stood up to my mother, I says, that was just more confirmation.
Uh-huh.
And then, and it stood enough just being her own woman, my mother.
It wasn't disrespectful.
No.
No.
My mother said, my mother, like, just give an example. So what's your plans with my son?
Uh-huh.
And my wife said, well, we just having fun. We just hanging out.
Okay.
So, she says, and then there was another question, and then, and my wife just handled like you were no big deal, so from that point, then I had a job in Tennessee. So I went to Tennessee. My wife had to finish up. She was graduating in December. And so I was in Tennessee with a new job, just graduated from college, and just communicate back with her. And I just like her qualities, her woman qualities. And she had a good foundation about herself. And I just felt like this is the woman for me. And I was, I graduated from college. I was ready. I was 23 years old. And I was really, at that point, I was in a mind state. I wanted to get married because actually when I was living on my own, it was like lonely. And I was like, I didn't know how to cook, but ate all the time. So I was like, what am I doing? Let me, so then.
So now you're in the working with NBA players. You see a lot of guys who are approached by a lot of women, and
Right.
this is a very dangerous time because they're young and they're bucks and they're powerful. It's hard, and you've managed other children. Tell me, what are some of the obstacles that you've reached, and have you been successful in advising them?
Yeah, I have, when I first started my early career, I really came and helped guys that were on drugs.
Mm.
And so they had a cocaine addict. Back in the 80s, a lot of the NBA most guys played in the NBA, they were on cocaine. There's no cocaine.
Why is that? Why was that? Is this pressure?
Well, the NBA was in the 70s or 80s. They was just, everybody just getting high,
Mm-hmm.
And so then David Stern came in, and he put these strict rules in.
Who did?
David Stern.
David Stern, yes. Uh-huh.
He put these strict rules in, and then that got cocaine out of the league. And then because he banned people. And he happened to ban one of my clients that I had for 2 years. He wasn't my client at the time, but the guy came to ask me, can you help me get in the league? And he was the first guy, Lewis Lloyd, that ever got banned from the league for drugs. And then I says, well, well, you got to prove to me that you've been off drugs and you really are trying to make a commitment to sobriety. And so after we talking with him and talking with the doctors and everything, I decided, okay, I'll help you get back into the league. And so that's what I did. I helped him get in the league. He was out for 2 years. I got him back into the NBA. I got his contract that he had lost. I got all that money back, which about $1.7 million. Got all that money back for him. And so it was, that's how I started my career.
And so you got a lot of other clients come to you because of that?
Not really, no. But I had some good clients prior to that. I had George Iceman Gervin, and I worked with George. I helped George out, but I would just recruit. Players came to me. They started knowing my reputation, that I'm a good person. I look out for their best interests. I care about them as human beings.
So when you're a manager, were you like a manager? Is that?
No, I'm not. Well, in a manager, I call myself a lifestyle manager. So we try to manage the whole lifestyle of professional athletes. Some athletes, they're down with that, and some, you don't have to, just do my contract and just worry about that.
So you negotiate how much they get, and for what period of time and all that. So,
what we actually do is we do contract negotiations. We provide marketing, endorsements, opportunity. We make sure they get into the community and do community service, which is a big part for me, because I feel like if you're a professional athlete, you must give back in the community, because you have to give back to these young brothers and young sisters that's out here struggling. So you are a role model.
So listen, what happened? What's the one who was messing around with Dennis Rodman? How you couldn't get your hands on him, could you? Or did you try?
Oh no, Dennis, no, I didn't even try for him.
But you can see when a player is going down a certain path, where that ends, right?
Yeah.
Do you try to interfere? But is there a problem with that if you start advising them and they have somebody else who's a manager? You have to stay.
Yeah, that's the problem is, they got rules. If somebody else is managing them, there's agents, First of all, they're being intimidated if I come over there and start talking, because then they're trying to think I'm stealing a client. So out of respect for that other agents, you don't talk to the players. You let them manage them the best. Now, if the player came to me and said, I need your help, then that's a different situation. Then I would say, okay, what do you need me to help you on?
This is the father of Tobias Harris, who plays for the 76ers, who's an incredible player. What is his average now? 28 points a game, or more or less?
He's about 22 in the playoffs, and 25, between 22 playoffs.
So how do you keep your children? They're all stars and they're all beautiful. I've seen them because you had a big birthday party and they were all tall trees there. We were looking up all night long. So very respectful children. God bless you. And thank you so much for that. So, but give us some advice about how you kept your family together, and especially raising young boys who are becoming superstars. I mean, in a sense, a lot of stuff goes into their heads. And
it's a lot of combination. I really didn't have a father that raised me. And my father, he kind of said when I was 8 years old, he says, hey, it was my birthday. I said, it's my birthday. I'm going to celebrate. Can't wait to get presents. And my dad, he sat in the chair. He said, you're 8 years old. You're a grown man. Now from here on, make man's decisions. And he was dead serious about that. But when I look back, I was mad a lot, but when my parents separated, he never did nothing. He never supported us and helped my mother out. But what I realized with him, he made me a survivor. He helped me be a survivor. And so as I went to college, I asked God, I said, if you give me children, I promise you I will be the best father that I could ever possibly be.
Mhm.
And the Lord blessed me with children, and I'm thankful because I was strict with my children because I like, if I ain't get away with it when I was a kid, y'all ain't getting away with it. So I wasn't playing around with that. I was I kind of went in a mode of my dad. I wasn't playing. I was serious. And but so the bottom line with me, we had a plan. I want my I got my kids involved in sports because they had a lot of energy, and I was running my company, raising my kids. So I said, you know what, I gotta I gotta challenge your energy. So basketball is what I knew, and I just got them out on the court early, and I would just keep them in training. And then time they came home, they were so tired, they just went to sleep, ate, went to sleep.
What about education? How?
Education, I always had a philosophy, myself personally. I felt like if they was into sports, they would do well in school. Their mother, on the other hand, she made sure that they tightened it up and they did they really did their homework. Otherwise, she said they can't go play no basketball if they didn't have good grades. And every one of my kids, they all graduated. My oldest son graduated from high school 4.0. He went to University of Maryland, graduated with economics degree. And all the rest of my kids, they graduated 3.85 from high school. So my wife, we call her the academic advisor. And so she did an unbelievable job, keep them in education.
So you made good choices, and especially, and the reason why I'm asking you about this because we have to learn how to make good choices, which is about brings me to the Grammys recently. Now the WAP, the strippers are now getting Grammys for talking about. You see what I'm saying? What do you think, or what do your kids think when they see that, and what do you think the messaging is to our children?
Well, the thing about what I can honestly say, well, my kids, like, we gave them a good foundation to know who Christ is. That's the most important. And we gave them an opportunity that let them know that you can achieve anything you want to achieve in this world. But it takes hard work, it takes discipline. And you have to give up some things that you really enjoy. So they didn't get to hang out with their friends every Saturday night or Friday night because number one, they had to get up like 5 o'clock in the morning because we had to go into the city. We had practice and playing basketball. So they knew they had to get their work. And so we instilled discipline with them. And which is so important that parents got to spend time with your kids. Well, I can honestly say I'm so blessed. I mean, like, God allows me to spend so much time with my kids. And I had a business. I ran the business. I mean, I ran a $20 million business.
Was that
So
talking about the clothing business?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I ran a really successful business. So to be able to run a successful business and spend a lot of times with my kids, that was a tremendous blessing to me.
You don't let your kids wear blue jeans? Why? I heard that. Why is that?
Oh no, they wear jeans. They wear jeans. No, no. Well, what happened was, like, how I get confused is I had so many warm-up suits and clothes, right? So
I have some of them. Yes.
so they would all go to school with the warm-up suits and clothes I have. So it didn't make any sense buying jeans because they grew so fast. When I bought some jeans, paid a lot of money for them, they outgrew the jeans. So I'm like, you know what, y'all just wear these. I would bring in stacks and stacks of clothes, and they would just wear them all the time.
So your children, Tobias, by the way. So how did you he stood out from the rest of them? I mean, he's like a superstar. I mean, I enjoy watching him, during the games. So, and what is he humble? Does he practice a lot? Is he distracted by girls? What is it that keeps him on track there? Because I ask you these questions because I want our people to learn how to raise our kids.
Number one, it started with my daughter, Tasia.
Mhm.
My daughter was the most hardest working athlete in our family, Tasia.
Mhm.
And she was recruited by everybody. And so Tobias, Tyler, and all the boys, they looked at Tasia and they said, huh, ain't no way in the world you're gonna do better than me. I'm gonna, and she had loads and loads of college scholarship letters. She was like the hit on Long Island in New York for basketball. So they looked at her. So she set the bar level when it came to basketball. And she was unbelievable. And so at that point, Tobias was humble and he just said, you know what, I can't let my sister outdo me. And so he set his bar level higher.
Okay.
And so so it become a competitive thing within the family because the kids, they didn't care about girls, boys, they cared about getting their game strong so they can, you know, Tobias' goal, he said, I'm playing in the NBA. And
And he's playing in the NBA. He's playing very well.
Yeah, so he did it.
What is his average now? It's about 24, well, 22, 24 points a
Yeah,
game.
yeah. So what Tobias does, he's so focused in. It's not like he wasn't chased by girls. He, you know, I don't even think any of my kids, they didn't even, none of them had girlfriend or boyfriends in high school. They ain't had, nah. And my philosophy was about, our philosophy and my wife is, why are you gonna try to get emotionally with somebody when you got to know yourself first?
Right, exactly.
So get to know yourself first, and then, because you can't focus on sports if you got a girl, because she's gonna take you away from that. Because I want you to come hang out with me, and then you're supposed to work out. So my kids, they had a focus on, really they had a challenge within themselves to outdo each other. And so on that, it kept on focused and humble. And then the humble part is I would take my kids into the inner city to play ball in Harlem, and we'll push crack vials off the court and play a game. And we had kids from the city, and then Tobias would see how they would live. And then he realized, you know, wow, I'm really, you know, I'm blessed the way I'm live versus the city kid lives. So he kept, and those were his friends. So just because he was living a different lifestyle, he didn't treat them any different. He treated them like they were brothers. And all of my kids, you know, the people we interact with. So so now, if you move forward, he's in the NBA. He's seen all those things for inner city kids. So his thing now is, okay, he's seen him when he was a kid. Now he's a pro and he has millions of dollars. So now he wants to go back and help those inner city people who are struggling. His program is literacy, helping literacy kids get a better education. So that's something that moved him when he was a kid. So that's in his heart to give back. And he's always been all my kids, they're all humble because they all realize that the blessings came from God. It didn't come from, it's just all God. So they're thankful for the opportunity and the blessings God has given them.
So when he is when he's playing, how, you know, sometimes there's someone is rough with him, or they might think that he's rough, or you know, there's a foul and they get angry or whatever. He just kind of just gets back on court and do what he has to do, right? Because there are a lot of hotheads out there, so he has to know how to manage that, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, Tobias, you got to understand, he's a New York City kid. He's a Long Island raised up, but he played against the toughest and the roughest kids from the New York City. So, you know, he's been in all type of situations, but he learns how to respect people, and, you know, and I don't think nobody really want to fight with him because he's a great boxer. You know, he knows how to knock people out because he takes, in the off season, he works on his boxing skills. So he's a heck of a boxer. You know, all my kids are boxers, you know.
I would like for you to, you know, to bring the kids on at some point so that we
Yeah.
can learn from them. You know, I care so much about. It's very rare to find fathers like you, and I, you know, I have to exploit you because I want you, in your talking to us, to teach us how to talk to our children. I mean, we don't want to say, get your ASO over here. You can't talk to your kids like that. And you're actually putting them down at that time. You're putting them at a disadvantage in terms of moving on in the world.
Yeah, what's important is words are important.
Mm-hmm.
The words you put out there, they could come into existence. So you have to be, words got to be positive. And what's the most important, a lot of kids like like I think I'm really thankful because I was able to work on so many disadvantaged kids playing in my AAU program, that not only did I mentor and father my own kids, I mentor and father a whole bunch of other kids too. And it's probably one of the reasons God has blessed me tremendously, because I gave to other kids that didn't have fathers. But what's happening is, what I feel with those kids, um, they just want love. And what happens is they get no attention. And so their mother and their father goes to work, they come home, they hang around their friends on the streets. And so there's no direction they're getting. I was blessed that I was there for my children each step of the way. Like they wouldn't travel nobody else. Oh, I'm gonna pick your kids up. No, you're not gonna pick my kids up. I'm gonna drive them there. So the thing about it is, what we have to understand as fathers and mothers, that there's a blessing that God has given us children, and there's a responsibility as us as adults that we have to give to our children. And sometimes we forget that as parents. We like, well, now your job is not more important than your kids, but I understand you have to make money at your job. So that's something you have to balance. My first recommendation, parents got to balance how they can spend more time with their children. So if their children goes to school from 9 to 3, okay, at 3 o'clock, you got to be home.
So wait a minute, do other parents see how you have raised your children and try to emulate them or emulate you?
I think I don't know that, but I think if anything, I try to I hopefully from example, that from example they can see from how I done it from example. What I do try to tell fathers, if I try to say your kids are a gift, and sometimes you may have difference with the woman, you're not with her, you got another woman. So sometimes you still got to raise your kids, because that's a gift. And that's why you hear some stories, father check out on the family because he can't get along with the mother. And then later on that kid become a pro. Now he want to come back. But he made no commitment of trying to raise his son. Mm-hmm. So we have to put the differences of how you feel about your woman that you had, and put the focus on the kids and being there and raising that kid, because it's a blessing that you're going to receive when you do that. And
what do you do? What do you do? People come after our young Black men when they're making money, millions of all races come after them. How do you teach them to be smart about who they're with? A lot of times they may want to get pregnant by one of the guys so that they have a paycheck. There's a lot of that sort of stuff going on. Also, there's jealousy. I noticed that when your son is playing, also sometimes the other players that may not be of our color, they have a problem with our boys. Our boys are so strong, so mighty, and everything. So how do you deal with that with your sons? And tell me what do you say?
Well, one thing I do say is, like, I always tell them, know the background of the woman you're dealing with.
Okay.
I can't tell them who the woman to choose, because that's their choice. Because, but I don't get into that. But their sisters will take care of that part. If the girl can get past my youngest daughter, Tori, because she's so spiritual, if she can get past her, then she won. She won all my boys. So if she can get past her. Now, Tori, if she don't like you, she will play. She's into the head game. She she wants to be a person that can analyze. She wants to be like an analyst of serial killers and those type of people. So she likes to get in your head. So she's pretty deep as a young girl.
Okay.
So if she don't like you, she'll play head games on a girl. And then the girl wouldn't even know it was head game until after they left.
Are all the kids at home? Or have they?
Tori's just the only one home, because she's still in college. And the rest of them are, Probably a lot of them going to start getting married next year.
Mhm.
About 3 of them probably be married next year.
Okay, so they have commitments.
Yeah, yeah. Tobias is getting married next year. TJ's getting married next year. Tyler's getting married next year. Tasia, yeah, 4 weddings probably be next year. God willing.
Sophia's getting married next year. Now tell me about her guy. Because is she tall?
Yeah,
Too?
she's about 6'8", you know.
What? Really? Okay. And who's he? Tell me about him.
He's a nice guy, plays overseas basketball, and you know, to see her likes him, he must be nice because she ain't started dating till after college. So she like him, he must be special.
There's a lot of sexuality, and I'm gonna let you go in a minute. I just have to milk you for all I can.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sexuality that's fed to our children constantly. And like I said, now, strippers are now winning the Grammys. Now, did you talk to your kids, your daughters about that, or?
Oh yeah, I talk to my daughters about everything. I tell them, guys they want to get with you, get inside, they want to, and I kind of probably scared them a little bit the way I talk, but I just been real with them, but they took it in because I tell my daughters, you just want to be like when you just want to stay virgin really till you get married.
Well,
And
how do they stay a virgin when everything is just sex now? I like sex too, but I had a father who taught us, you're sitting on a gold mine. You don't let anybody go digging in it. But it's also the same kind of thing with the boys. You just don't share yourself with anybody because you can wind up with somebody you'll be attached to for 21 years because they had your child and you can't stand them.
well, you talk to your kids, be straight. One thing about my kids, I try to talk to them as a father and I try to talk to them as a friend and just like, be real with them and tell them what's going on. And unfortunately, try to talk to my boys too, but they're men, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. I try to talk to all of them. But so far, all of them have only, one girlfriend, is steady. They've, they're doing the right thing. They're not running the streets. Really, they're just trying to focus on their craft and their careers, and they wind up all of them got nice women, nice looking ladies too. So. Yeah.
What about jealousy? Did you have jealousy within the children and the family? Did you ever see that and have to?
My kids wasn't. One thing I could say about them, they wasn't jealous of each other. It's just all love. They're competitive now. They're so competitive even till this day, and they all don't. The amazing thing about this, they never ask their brother for any. I mean, he got a lot of money. They don't even. They like, you know what? I don't need his money. I make my own money.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even, all of them got their own careers. They're like, you know what? I make my own money. That's good. You got yours. And yeah, that's one thing
Are
about
you
it.
like all of Tobias's now? Do you go to everybody's game? Is he the only one? Who else is playing right now? Besides the one overseas, all of them are playing.
Colleges came home for COVID. Terry's just been training, so he got the summer league in Vegas that he'll play with an NBA team. And Tori's just working out. She's going back to college. And TJ, he just works. And then who else I miss? And Tasia, she works with me. And yeah, that's.
How did your family deal with COVID?
When we did it, COVID, we mostly just all stayed in one location in my home in Long Island, and everybody just stayed there. We just hang out with one another and just,
So you see a lot of our sons. I'm concerned about the fact that there was such that prison system was so huge, and they came in and actually really destroyed our homes and our families with, first they bring the drugs and then they lock you up. And that became big business for some of the corporate men,
right.
And helped build jails. Do you talk about that at all when you're advising young men? I'm so hurt about what has happened to my people because I was away 9 years. When I went away, I went to study in Sweden. My husband took me to study in Sweden. Okay, he was going to work on his 1 year on a master's in economics. We wound up being over there 9 years. Lord have mercy. But when I left, the black men were in college. They were going to school, become accountants and that sort of thing. This is in the 70s. And then black women were going to college to meet these guys who are going to make some money and become accountants and lawyers and all that. So when I came back, I was shocked to see black men and young boys on their stomachs and being, handcuffed by the police, and black women are still in college. So that today you see black women are in core positions. Everybody wants to cater to the black woman because she has the money. Now our men went to jail without any sort of education, skills given to them or anything. And now I'm in Harlem. They're poured out on the streets. They have no place to go. They have no. I mean, they're sick. They're also sick. They have no education, and they're just waiting to die. In what I see. So this is a major crisis for our whole community. I don't know. Do you think about that? Do you think about are there any ways that we can this platform that I have is to teach us to start thinking about it? Because
well, what I could say is this. I think everybody in America, that we're blessed. That there's no reason why we should be on street corners. There's no reason. The reason I say that is I had a manufacturer that over in Pakistan. Mm-hmm. Went over to Pakistan, and the guy, he said, well, let me show you where our ghetto is. So he took me by his ghetto, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Mm-hmm. It's like over there, it's like where they drop the garbage at. All your garbage all over the community. Drop the garbage there. People had tents, and that's the food they ate when they dropped the garbage up. And that was the ghetto.
Wait a minute. Okay, people would bring their trash to a certain area and drop it there, and then
the trucks would drop the garbage off there, just like they do here. Pick the garbage up, and they drop it. And people lived in tents, and that was their ghetto. That was the ghetto. That's how they ate their food. And when I seen that, and I got on this plane and I came back to the United States, this is so true. I kissed the ground. I kissed the ground. Thank you for being back in America, because when I say that, there's no excuses for here. Now, what happens is, what people got to understand is the devil is trying to deceive us in so many different ways, but we have the power within us to be anything that we choose to be. But what happens is, people lose their faith. They lose loved ones, they lose a job, they lose family, and then they down, but they don't realize that they have the power within them with Christ. And so we're being deceived so much from the evil spirits of this world that we forget to pray. We forget to ask God, I need help. Mm-hmm. And then when you ask God you need help, I mean, you got to believe that he's going to help you. You can't just ask him. It's like me when I play the lottery sometime. I play the lottery. Well, I know I ain't going to win that lottery, but why? But I played it. But so it's the same thing. But you got to believe what you ask for. If you believe God, you hear my prayers, God, I need it. This is where you want me to go. And once we realize we have the power within us, and that's why I try to teach my kids, and that's why I teach all the kids I mentor. And I have to be thankful, because a lot of the kids I mentor, they're doing extremely well now, because that's that philosophy I put in there. You can achieve anything you want to, because everything is already within yourself, because God is within you. Mm-hmm. But we get to see there's a deceivers of this prosperity of the world, deceive us thinking that we can't achieve these things.
Well, we're deceived. I mean, the music and the images, and just take a little nods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Programming.
our children see that.
It's
And
called programming.
okay, so
Program,
they, mhm.
programming our minds that, to make us see these things.
So what's the best way to fight this? I mean, now a lot of us don't. We just have kids. We don't have fathers. We don't have men, and the ones who are there, as I said to you a little bit of a little while ago, is that a lot of men are out on the streets here in Harlem, and they have no wisdom. They have no education, nowhere to go. I mean, literally on the street. It breaks my heart because I realize how amazing Black men are. I
Yeah.
mean, we built the pyramids. I think I don't. We built the pyramids. Nobody else has been able to do that.
And you
But
got black men, you have black men on Harlem in the streets that have got off the streets,
mhm.
accept Jesus Christ as their personal savior, that got off the streets and are multimillionaires today. There's some of them. Is that commitment. You got to make that commitment. If you keep saying I ain't nothing, if you keep having self-pity on yourself, then how you gonna get out? There's some that I know personally that
Mhm.
they were on the streets, they had bad times, they found Christ, and then that opened a door for them, and they couldn't believe it. Wow, they opened the door for them, and then they're like, that door that God opened for them was an opportunity, and they took them to another level. Now they're multimillionaires. So you got to want it. You have to want it. You have to know. I mean, we have to know that if you pray, God hears your prayers, and that you have to believe, and you got to go to Christ. It's the only way. Um,
I've noticed that a lot of our churches today, they're more like prosperity churches. It's like here in Harlem, they didn't open their doors. They didn't try to teach. They didn't try to feed or anything. A lot of them, they just shut the doors. You know what I mean? And we have these pastors that want the money but don't do the work. And so, and that bothers me a lot because, and we don't even have community. One of the things that shut down for our kids, that we don't have community centers anymore. There's no place for them to go. You know, we used to have the YMCA. There used to be those parks and stuff you can go to, and that you had people working there. All that was taken away. All of that was shut down. And so our kids are glued to the television and just, Instagram and all that. And that's what they look at. That's what they see. And
well,
mhm.
we gotta have other black men to come out and be fathers to those children and mentor to those children and help them and let them see a different way of getting your education. Thinking about having a plan A, thinking about having a plan B, thinking about having a plan C, think about having a plan D. You got to have different plans, and that's important because so many like a lot of our black brothers, they're incarcerated, and so the women are raising these kids and they need help.
Yes, they do.
That's why I try to reach out to many kids I could besides my own kids and give myself, because they still need that man figure to, like, hey, wait, what are you doing? What's your goals? What's your plan? And so it's important for us black men to reach out to a kid. Hey, you can do better than that, and and instill confidence in them. It's like instill love, because what happens is on the streets, they're receiving so much negativity. Like,
Yes.
like you can't do it. You can't. No, you could do anything you possibly can, because the black men are kings. We're all kings, and the black women are queens. So we can achieve anything we put our mind to it. Just think about it. If you look at what black people put their minds to, they excel it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a reason why they're trying to get us in jail. That's the way the system is. They want it. That's designed for us. We got to be smarter than that. We got to, like, no, I'm not gonna fall into that pitfall. No, I'm gonna be smarter than that. And once we realize that, then you
Well,
see.
tell me this: if you don't have the skill as a basketball player, I mean, I'm just an average guy or an average like girl out here. What do you think that, I mean, we should do to get a skill, or what's the advice you would give? You know,
Well,
just
my advice is easy. That's the easy advice. My advice is see what. First of all, think within yourself what you enjoy doing. What do you enjoy doing? So once you find out what you enjoy doing, then what you're saying, like say for instance, you say, well, I enjoy drawing clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I enjoy doing makeup. I enjoy, I'm good with my hands. I can draw, you know, I'm good. I enjoy reading. I can read and read. Okay. So once you find out what you enjoy, then you have to say to yourself, how can that benefit me for my future?
Mm-hmm.
And then now just sit back and just vision how that can take you to your future. What's your vision? Like a lot of people say, I got reprehended by one time a few years ago. I was talking to Shaka Khan and I said, Shaka, she Torrel, how you doing? I said, I'm living my dream, doing my dream. And she went in on me. She said, what are you talking about? You living your dream? She says, you ain't living your dream. You living your vision.
Chaka.
Yeah,
Chaka.
she says, you living your vision. You doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, don't say that no more. You doing it. You ain't living no dream. You ain't dead. You're alive.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought about that. You know, we talked about like 2 hours, we going back and forth. And so I said, wow, she's right. I'm not living no dream. I'm actually living my vision, which I was. I had the vision and I'm carrying out my vision. And so what I tell now people is live your vision, you know, because your vision is what God already puts inside of you. It's already in you.
Yes, it's in there. Yeah.
So, and so once you see your vision, then that may entitle you to get education. And so now you put a plan together. You have your own plan. Like, this is my plan. Your plan is like your roadmap, your navigator. You got to have a plan. Like one thing I teach all my kids, have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
What's your plan? And so, and that's important for us to teach our young, Black people and, and all people, is have a plan. Have a plan of how you can be successful and pray to God with that plan.
Mm-hmm.
And like when I first started my unique sports management, I had a reversible warm-up suit. Everybody said, oh man, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. I had a vision. And I took $150,000 investment and made a $20 million business. And I didn't listen to nobody. You know who I listened to? I just listened to God. Mm-hmm. That's all I listened. And I had some good people that was in my corner that, that believe in me and it all worked.
Your stuff, I still wear your stuff. You would send me all kinds of jackets and pants and stuff. I still wear it. It holds up very nicely. And that's like 20 years ago.
Yep.
You were always so kind and you would just send me things. And I don't even know how we started talking to one another. Do you recall?
See, we met at an event, and I think it was the All-Star game was in LA. And there was an event that they had this fashion show event, and Janet Jackson got award, and then you was interviewing all the people.
Yeah.
And that's where we met. I remember that.
Yeah. I hope you let us call on you. I want you to be a part of our team.
Yes.
And we're going to be building more people and like yourself to have access and have their own show, if possible, if you would be interested in that. And we're going to see how we can move, and because there may be others that you feel that we could help them. It could be a place where people can come here and learn and say and have aha moments. Oh, I can do that. Or because a lot of times we don't know the path. We don't know how to begin.
Right.
On the path to where we want to go in life, Sure. And I think it's very important that you speak of God and talk about God because he's always there. I mean, you just, you have to really, you have to just ask him.
That's the thing what people don't really realize. It's a little bit deeper than that. You have to live with that relationship within yourself with Christ. They don't necessarily, going to church is good. It's a good network. You may meet somebody in church, that just give you, I think church, me personally, I think it's just a good network. Somebody could be down in church, right? And you go up to them and say, "Oh, how you doing? Oh, so good to see you." And hey, and have a conversation about Christ to that person. You lift that person up.
Yes.
But realistically, um, God is in Jesus, Jesus is in us with the Holy Spirit. So everything starts within ourselves. Everything that we want to accomplish within us. It's not necessarily you got to go to church. I mean, some people don't go to church, that's fine. But you know what? They go into a special room in their house,
Right.
they pray to God, and they got that personal relationship. The end of the day is having that personal relationship with God. And if you have that personal relationship with God, then you are walking in the spirit. And that's what it's really all about. So,
So glad that I met you, and we've been friends for years, you know.
yeah, we haven't seen each other in a long time since back in, yeah.
That was a throwdown party too. I haven't forgot that party. We had a good time.
Yeah, we haven't seen each other in a while. Yeah, that's true. Since shoot, for almost like had to be because your husband, I used to send him stuff all the time.
All the time,
Yeah.
yes.
But haven't seen you. And then the COVID and all that. Yeah, that came after my party. So yeah.
I was so glad when you invited. That was the best party. And let me tell you, uh, the guy I was there with, he and I, the way we were dancing, there were people watching us, and they talked about this couple that they saw dancing at at your party and everything. And I said, I think you were talking about me and the guy that I was with, because I'm from Chicago. We were doing every kind of dance. We had a really good time there.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that. I appreciate your coming on the show.
Oh, yeah,
because I would love to meet the children and meet your
we're gonna get them for sure.
Okay. Yeah. And we can do some things and continue because you have a lot of wisdom, and I want that for our people. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for being with us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye bye.
Bye bye now.